that they may need, and the information of what they've done. I mean, if there's been a problem, if something's not straightforward, how the information has worked its way back up the chain, back so we know what to rebuild or where the mistakes are or how to correct things for the future.
Okay. What kind of factors result in a failed system implementation, and how would you alleviate those risks?
What factors result in a failed system implementation, and how do I alleviate those risks? Well, failed system implementations, in my experience, have basically been due to lack of information. In applying something new to someone who has, like applying a new software or a new connection between different software to the end user, the employee, the end user who's using it, and not giving them the full information of what there actually needs to be done from their end, giving them a background of why it needed to be done so that they can use their own knowledge of their job and how to help my job, what information that I'm not asking for that really needs to be asked for. Failed system implementation would be one where basically we put into place some procedures and something like that, and they just don't work. We alleviate usually by exchange of information, talking over with the people, all the different people involved at any level in the system, and figuring out where it failed, where the break in communication was, or what pieces were missing that should have been there in the first place.
How do organizational structures determine your use of information systems?
How do organizational systems determine my use of information?
How do organizational structures determine your use of information systems?
Okay. How do organizational structures determine my use of information systems? Well, that's partially what I can see that is partially what information is needed at each level. The person who's doing the employee at the lower end of the job who's doing it doesn't really need to know what the billing procedures are, what information was needed to generate a quote. The organizational structure, I'm not really quite sure how to answer this question.
You're actually doing well. I mean, we'll start it over, but you're going on about, well, we only need to give information to the necessary information to who needs that information at the time. So, like, for example, like someone in procurement wouldn't need to know some other type of information.
Right.
So you can kind of elaborate on that.
Okay.
Like you think of like an ERP system, things are divided, like you only see the information that you need.
Right.
So,
Works.
So we'll start off again. Remember, so remember, I mean, you don't, so I mean, you're not going to hear what I'm asking, but how do organizational structures determine your use of information systems?
How do organizational structures influence my use of information systems? Well, basically, try to use it more in the fact of what information is needed by each level of each employee. The person who's doing the end job doesn't necessarily need to know all the information that went into how the quote was applied or what the pricing on the quote is. Our person in shipping doesn't need to know necessarily anything about the equipment or the job other than keeping track of what came in, what was sent in from the end user, from the end client, and keeping track of where the equipment is, what information was sent along with it, and making sure it all gets to the right place at the end, inside our company and also back to the client when the project is finished. Further up the line, the vice president of our company who is doing the billing doesn't really need to know where the equipment is, just the fact that what information was done, what equipment came in, and more importantly, what was done and what the billing needs to be done to close out a project. So the organizational structure, sort of the level you're at, determines what information is really necessary for you, and try and not necessarily to hide information from the people who don't need it, but not giving them an overload of information, giving them information that has nothing to do with their position and is not going to help.
Okay. What do you think the pros and cons, what do you think are the pros and cons of live versus virtual teams?
What do I think the pros and cons of live versus virtual teams? Well, my company is a small company. We're a single location company. We really deal primarily with live teams. So whenever we're getting together with, it's pretty much a live team type situation, which is a pro is because it's nice that when you're working with people, there's a lot of times a lot of things that are in facial expression, seeing the person that you have more of an idea of what they really mean when they say something. Working as a virtual team, it gives you advantage of when you are in different locations. You don't have to travel, spend money, time to get together. You could work at the same time in different locations, or there are even ways of doing it where you're working on a project at different times, but the information is just shared together, one common repository for the information, and everyone can access. But again, it depends on the company. Our company structure is a small company. Live teams work best. Everyone is there at the same time because we're all in the same company anyway. We're able to really get the information flowing back and forth, being able to see the person, talk, no real problems with delay of time, and it just seems to work best for us that way.
One more question. Next question is going to be, how do you think job security is within the MIS field? All right. How safe do you think job security is within the MIS field?
How safe do I think job security is in the MIS field? Well, right now it's hard to say where job security is in any field, other than the way our economy has been going and companies have been laying off people and shrinking. Again, where I am, we're a small company. Job security, I feel, is my job is secure as long as the company still exists. That's where the insecurities might be. In general, a company that really knows MIS and uses MIS, especially a bigger company, you would think there would be a job security. The fact that taking the information, taking current technology, having someone who is knowledgeable in current information systems and how to use them, and also has the management skills, knowing where to use them, knowing how to apply it to make the company more efficient, would lead more to seeing as a position that would have job security. But again, that's one I don't really have a lot of experience with in different fields, different places.
I have another question. How do you think outsourcing is affecting that as well?
How do I think outsourcing is affecting job security management information system?
Yeah.
I really don't have much experience in outsourcing of MIS positions. I would think in general that it's a position that's harder to outsource in that you need someone on site, someone working with the people, or at least having that information there to give it the better management perspective to deal with the people involved rather than just people as individual bits of data. But then again, like I said, I don't have really much experience with outsourcing in the MIS field.
Okay. Well, we'll stop here and just see how it played out.